41-year-old transient Kevin Lewis is behind bars after pushing a homeless woman he was dating into an oncoming train. The incident occurred at around 6:35 a.m. on the 11th of April 2022, when officers responded to the railway tracks along Madison Street in Riverside, California, on reports of a woman struck by a freight train. The crew of the train were unaware that a woman had been hit and continued on. When officers arrived at the scene, a woman who was identified as 52-year-old Mary Maltus was pronounced dead. Witnesses explained that they saw Kevin and Mary get into a verbal altercation that became physical next to the railway tracks. Onlookers watched in horror as they saw Kevin shove Mary into the path of a moving train. The police located Kevin nearby and he was arrested. Kevin is charged with Mary's murder, domestic violence, and multiple outstanding warrants for theft and narcotics violations. He's held at the Robert Presley Detention Centre with bail set at $1 million. 24-year-old Byron Manning was arrested and charged with murdering his ex-girlfriend's brother, 34-year-old Ronald Moore. The incident occurred at around 6 p.m. on the 7th of April 2022 at an apartment located in the 3300 block of Civic Center Drive in North Las Vegas, Nevada. Byron's ex had asked him to move things out of their apartment, ending a relationship that spanned over 4 years. When Byron was asked to move, Ronald was at the apartment to support his sister. Byron then threatened the woman, saying that he would hurt somebody that's important in her life. At some point, gunfire erupted and Byron fled the area. Police arrived at the crime scene on reports of shots fired and declared Ronald dead. Byron then called his ex-girlfriend to torment her and started laughing and said, "I got him." He was located 2 hours after the shooting in Jean, Nevada and was arrested. Byron is charged with murder and is held without bail. On the 14th of April 2022, 35-year-old Jerry Robinson pleaded guilty to his role in the fatal bashing of his 3-year-old foster daughter, Victoria Rose Smith, in 2021. His 30-year-old wife, Ariel Robinson, awaits trial next month on related charges. The incident occurred at around 2:15 p.m. on the 14th of January 2021, when the authorities were called to the couple's home along 515 Selwood Circle in Simpsonville, South Carolina, on reports of an unresponsive girl. Jerry told the dispatcher that Victoria had drunk a lot of water and they tried doing CPR to get the water out. When first responders arrived, they found a 3-year-old girl lying motionless and badly injured. She was covered in deep purple bruising all over her body. Ariel told the medics that the bruising on her stomach was caused by her pushing too hard while performing CPR. She claimed the extreme bruising on Victoria's legs were caused by a 7-year-old brother, saying that he'll pick anything up and hit her with it. Victoria was rushed to the Greenville Memorial Hospital, but was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The medical examiner determined that Victoria died from multiple blunt force trauma injuries and ruled her death a homicide. It was said that Victoria suffered internal bleeding and that she bled out inside her own legs. Jury testified that he never physically hurt Victoria, but Ariel would beat her with different things, such as her hands, a paddle and a belt. He said Ariel was angry with Victoria the night before her death because she threw up on herself on the way to church. CCTV footage caught the girl entering the church with just a diaper on, with no obvious signs of physical injuries at the time. The following morning, Ariel was frustrated with Victoria for taking too long to eat her pancakes, so she put a timer on. Jury explained that when he was outside the house, he could hear Victoria screaming and crying as Ariel beat her with a belt. As he went inside, he saw Ariel with the belt standing over Victoria, who was undressed, saying, "You don't get to tell me when you're done." When Jerry saw how badly beaten and bruised Victoria was, he told Ariel, "Look at her. You've done too much. You've gone too far this time." At 1 p.m, Ariel put Victoria into an Epsom salt bath, while Jerry went to the pharmacy to buy medication to bring down the bruising. Jerry pleaded guilty to aiding and abetting homicide by child abuse and faces between 10 to 20 years in the Greenville County Detention Center when he's sentenced. Ariel has pleaded not guilty to the charge of homicide by child abuse. She's scheduled to go on trial on the 9th of May. On the 2nd of August 2020, Ariel was named the winner of Season 20 for the Worst Cooks of America series.